AF activator. So I work with women to help them lead from their heart so they can become their own dopest role in their next heart directed reality and movie. So today I want to talk about how playing in the dark is the key to manifesting your next level. So, if you're in the thick of it, if you are in the unknown, if you are moving through a lot of pieces falling away, if you are going through a period of transition, just know that this is the period where you get to manifest the most. And I know that sounds crazy, but just to give you a little bit of um, relatable content, I was in a space where I was going through multiple death portals in the last several months. I was in Canada, felt called to stay in Canada in the cold to heal my knee. So this time I didn't have the same tools to move energy. I had to sit with my shit. I had to sit with my feelings, and it was really uncomfortable. So, as a Scorpio, I love to go through death and rebirth, right? I know that this is part of my next leveling up, but in the midst of it, it can feel really overwhelming. Like you're lost in the waves. Like you don't know where the fuck you're going, who you're becoming, and you're being completely rewired at that point. Only if you stay open in the dark, if you play in the dark. So, this is where I want to talk about how these moments can really put us in a space of feeling like we lost control and feeling like we don't know how to get back up on the board. But if you stay open in the dark, if you keep a light on, if you find a way to be with yourself in a space where you're not judging yourself, in a space where you are open to what is happening, if you are open to seeing the light, then dope shit can actually manifest in the dark. Because in the dark, in the moments that you are in the middle of a transition, when you don't know where you're going, you're actually a lot more likely open than you were before. So, before, maybe as an older identity and role that you played, you kind of knew where you were going. You were going towards the scene that you were comfortable with, that you had put in so much energy and investment into, right? So whether that be a relationship that you had this predictability, like it feels safe, it feels comfortable, I can come home to this, or you had a job that was paying you a paycheck every week, every second week. So you're like, okay, I know where I'm going. I have a bit of a map, right? And this is where I personally, on this journey, this heart led journey of listening to the pull, listening to what lights you up, listen to what makes you feel alive. It is so much more satisfying to feel like you're on a path where there is so much possibility at play than knowing that, okay, this is what I'm coming home to every day. That's just me. But honestly, with everything that's going on in the world, what makes you feel alive? Like, we want to feel alive right now, right? It's not about escaping what's happening in the world, but how can you find home in yourself? How can you feel safety in yourself? How can you feel that sacred temple within yourself? And for me, on my nomad journey in the last 4 or 5 years, it's always been about coming back to my heart. And to do that, especially in the dark, is to find ways to stay open. And so, this last several months that I felt called to stay in the cold, in the dark, solo like a cave woman in Montreal, like around about an hour and a half from Montreal, I felt the pull, right? This is the thing. When you're on the journey and you're committed to, I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel alive. I want to feel like at the end of the day, I lived my fucking life. Like I did not hold back, that I was fully expressed, that I did follow what made me happy, what really fulfilled me. This is why some people go through their life chasing something because of a script that they've been handed to, growing up, being like, you need to do this in order to be successful. You need to take this route in order to be successful. But the heart journey, why I'm so down with it, is because there is so much more fucking dope shit that can happen when you go that route, right? It might take more time. It might take moments where it's uncomfortable and scary and dark, unknown, because this is where we need to let go. We need to let go of control. We need to let go of these scripts that we've been embedded with that are not actually yours. When you come up with like a block in your life and it's not moving forward, ask yourself, what where in my mind am I blocking myself from moving forward? Let's say you have this dream to, speak on stage and you're like, "Oh my god, it really does light me up." So that's the heart path, right? But if it's the mind will tell you, "Hey, but you can't do that. You don't know how to do that. And how's that going to pay your bills and this and that?" That's when we start going on the script of fear, of like the outcome, being afraid of the outcome because of something that we've been taught. Maybe you've been taught that success is hard earned. Maybe you taught that you need to have a fucking degree to get there. But the heart path and how I see life as a movie is that you get to create your own scene because it already exists. It's already written with your name on it. So here's the thing, if you can stay open enough where your mind doesn't direct the scene, where it's not taking the lead, where it's not like, okay, you can't do this because, and even if it does come up, can you observe it? Can you be like, hey, thank you for showing me the limitation in this way of thinking, in this way of seeing and moving? And can you drop back in and tune into the excitement? Tune into the excitement of you playing because we're here to play. You are chosen to come back here and you probably have a big mission. If you are listening to this, you have a big mission in this planet Earth during this time. You're a seed, a star seed, you're a light worker, you're a healer, you're an artist. You have something to share. And that what's potent for us to share right now is our heart, is our truth, is our essence, is our creativity, is our passion, our fire. But we've been taming our fire because of the scripts that we've been holding on, which means that in these moments where you are feeling in transition, when you are feeling unsure about what's coming, just know that this is the perfect moment for you to manifest because now you have an open slate. It's almost like you don't have a map. So, right now, we have two choices in the unknown. We can either cling on to the mind of how it runs or has run your life and your scenes before, or you can see this as an opportunity of, holy shit, I'm dying right now. I'm going through a death portal. That means part of my identity is dying. Can I hold myself in this moment with love, with compassion? Okay. And also, can I go into my heart and be, excited about what that means, right? So there's two perspective. The mind will tell you, "Oh shit, what are you going to do now? You're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to make money if you lost your job, quote unquote." And then your heart's going to be like, "Oh my god, now that I don't have this job, right? You're going through a death portal. Things are falling apart. What does that mean?" That could actually mean that you have something doper coming, another job, a dream job, right? Now you have the space for it. So the key is to stay in the heart, stay in that perspective of the excitement and the aliveness that you now have the space and opportunity. This is so big. And I need to stress this because people think that when they're in the dark, it's like fucking mission over. No, it's mission begun. How you show up in the dark is everything because you will go through initiation. You will learn to embody, right? The part of us where it's easy to be in our dope vibe when it's, everything is working out and we have all this dope shit happening. But what happens when you don't have the map? What happens when you get a little bit like on edge and suddenly things are shifting in a way that you didn't expect? How you show up in that moment, I'm telling you, is everything. You will be able to embody a version of you that is more trusting, that is more open, that is more able to flow, right? The whole point is for us to flow. In this world, we are being asked to let go of control and flow. And that's how you come back to feeling safe in your body because you're able to flow. You're able to play in these scenes that are unknown. So I'm going to go back to my story of how I stayed over the last 4 months in this place, right? And it was really dark. It was like my Scorpio loves that, like I said, but it was like a really deep initiation of a death portal. My mind was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna stay here in the cold winter, in the middle of the forest, and not have physical community, right? And just be with your shit." I had to heal my knee. I went to Bali last year, and on the last month, I had 3 partial ligaments torn, and that's when I was like, "Oh shit, this is a big message." And this is the thing, when life hits you in that way where it gives you no choice but to be where you are with your shit, please take that as an initiation of, "Holy fuck, I'm about to expand. Can I be here now?" Because that is part of the game. We always wanna go next level into our dopest movie, but just know that you are already in your dopest movie. You're in a scene that is actually preparing you for your next quote unquote dope scene, right? So in that moment, I said, "Oh shit, I'm being taught something. There is some gold here." This is what happens when you navigate life with an open heart. You see the possibility in everything, you see the light in it. And it's not about bypassing. You're not bypassing what is happening. You're feeling deeply the pain in it and what's to unravel, but you don't see it as mission over. You're seeing it as, "Oh, I'm entering a new mission of so much different gems and gold if I really am open to playing in the dark." So think about playing. What is that energy of playing? When you play, you're like curious, you're open, you're intrigued, you're, wanting to focus more on the moment and on what it feels like in that moment versus the end result. You're not necessarily, yeah, okay, we can play to win, but I see it as if you play and you're always winning when you're playing because it keeps you on a vibe that is high. When you're playing, you are on a high vibe. You're like, "Holy shit, I'm having fun right now." Can you have fun? Can you have a little bit of fun and bring a little bit of lightness where you are in the moments of transition, in the moments of the big waves? And that sometimes comes from sitting with your shit deeply, holding yourself and little you when you are moving through it from a space of compassion and open heart. And that's when you can start to play. You're like, "Okay, so I'm holding myself right now because I know something is coming." So, all to say is for me, making the decision to stay here for the last 4 months and heal in a way that I never have, because I'm gonna tell you, when you sit with your shit and you can't actually dance to move the energy or the emotion, everything shifts because now you go deep into the layers, right? So, as I was moving through multiple death portals, multiple identities that were dying because, I had to face my shadows in a different way. I had to be like, "Oh my God, what got me to this space where I now can't move?" Can't move forward. What have I been carrying that's so heavy? Where have I been really rigid in my stance? Where have I been acting a little bit premature? Where have I been, burning out through the fire that is, the passion that I'm carrying? So I sat with these parts of me that did also play out of survival, right? The parts of me that felt the need to carry so much. So this is where, as I'm moving through this death portal the last couple months, I decided to play. I decided to still create, still play music, even in the dark. Be like, "Oh shit, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now, but if I can just, open my heart, I would feel better in the death. I would feel more alleviated. I would feel held in some way. And if I'm moving with music, I'm moving with flow, I'm moving with frequency, high frequency." And so I played music. I danced in the ways that I could with my knee. I opened up to the possibility of, what this next chapter could be with the amount of release that I was going through, the sacred release that I was doing every full moon. And so I guess what I'm trying to share with you right now is that through that, I manifested. I manifested a lot of shit in different ways. I ended up, you know, being called to, after all this release that I did, I ended up sitting with myself and I was like, What is the most alive for me next from this open space, from all the space that I've moved and created through my sacred release, through my rage portals that I was hosting every month for women? And came up, what felt the most alive was getting deeper into co creation with other women this year. So I'm a nomad for 4 years now. And I never had full, like, deep intention whenever I would travel. I would just be like, oh, I'm pulled in this direction. There must be something expansive. And that's true. When you're pulled in a direction, that's the least efforting path. So there is something there waiting for you. So you follow it. But this time I was like, what if I can tune into what's the most alive and really feel deep what that is now that I've created the space? And it was to co create with powerful women globally, nomadically, on a co creation journey where I go from place to place where I'm being called. And I sent out the invitation that, hey, I'm ready to fucking co create and play. Let's go. I want to, bring in my DJ sets on a more ceremonial, activating, heart led portal with a theme, with an intention to empower women to bring them back into their sovereignty. So I had that. I had my sacred release work, skits, podcasts, you name it. This was the vision. I was like, I've been hermiting off grid isolation for the last 4 to 7 months. And now I get to do it in community. So this was the vision that I held. And I really breathed it into that, into my heart. I was like, this is fucking possible. So whatever you feel sort of an opening to, a pull towards, I want you to stay on that vision. Get more curious about that vision. Get more curious about that frequency, that vibe, that feeling, that possibility. And that's when you get out of the mind director. We're here to direct from the heart. What does the heart need? What it wants to expand. And from there, guess what? I started being more active in my creations, doing more music, getting into that curiosity stage. And then from 1 minute to the next, I was following the pull. And one day I was like, you know what? I want to finish my track. I have a women empowerment track that I've been wanting to write that I started writing last year, but I was right when I went through my knee injury, I put a stop on it. Right. And this is the thing. Sometimes you start something and it ends up kind of being like put at pause because of something that you need to move through and embody before you can share it. So I was on a pause. And then just recently, a month before, after my whole release period, I had an opening and I said, I think I'm ready to get back on the flow of my track. So I hit up this dude. I said, who do I need to ask in order to have the perfect person that could help me bring my next track next level? And so I asked this dude, this rapper, this awesome, awesome artist, Kiyoshi, who I had also met through a breadcrumbing, right? Following the breadcrumb years ago. But you never know what it actually serves you. You just felt called at that moment to follow the pull. So I hit him up and he said, you need to hit up Gina Renee. And I'm like, all right, cool. And what's so interesting is that when I tell you that I was mapping out what felt like different places I would go and co create this year, California was like at the top of the list. I felt the pull there. It was very alive. And it was like San Fran and Los Angeles, but I didn't know who Kiyoshi was referring me to. So I go on her page and I'm like, holy shit, she's in California, which is one of the first spots that I felt this opening for. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me hit her up. And I hit her up. And next thing you know, I realized that she has sung on the soundtrack of Step Up. Like, what the fuck? I grew up watching this, maybe not grow up, but I loved watching these Step Up movies. I was like, oh my God, it's so dope. Channing Tatum, this and that. And she sang on that. So I was like, ooh, look at that. For sure, we're vibing now because that's something that I really get excited about. And then she hit me up and we get on a call and I was about to ask her like how she could support me for my music, and she goes, "You know what, girl? I've been looking you up and I need your medicine too. My true war goddess archetype, women empowerment, like heart work medicine." And I'm like, "Wow. When you play in the dark, you get led to really dope shit. When you least expect it." I didn't know exactly when I was going to go. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I was calling in these women to co-create with, and because I stayed in the unknown with curiosity, even while I'm dying, even while I'm like in the liminal space of what the fuck is going on. Like, I've let go of this, I've let go of that, I've let go of the way that I lead, I've closed my portal of the full monthly walk in for sacred release. I'm in a whole recalibration. How the fuck can I manifest, right? That's what you might be thinking. But really, this is where the gold is, because there is so much openness when you don't fucking know. We just got to stay on the vibe of the heart, of the possibility, of the curiosity, of the playing. We need to play. And by playing, I ended up manifesting, right? You're not really manifesting, you're just aligning with the truth of what you feel is alive. I followed that without attachment. And we end up fucking super much vibing, and she wants to do a trade. We then do a trade. This is the path we're on. And then guess what? I said I wanted to co-create with women, right? And then she goes, "Yo, let's co-create something in California." Boom, the vision comes alive. Boom, it has place to land because you played in the dark. You weren't holding on to the old script of like, fuck, I can't do this now. I can't do this now. I don't know. Like, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel sad. Feel that. Be with that. Grieve that. Honor your death. But do not hold on to the script if you want to move forward, right? Sometimes people think they want to move forward, but they're not energetically open enough to move forward fully. So, this is where staying in the heart, be in the frequency of what is alive, what is authentic to you right now. Even if that means I'm feeling sad today, this old version of me, this old role, I'm feeling sad today. Be with her, be with her. And in other moments, can you add a little fun, add a little lightness, add a little drum? I would just be on my handpan, and then the fucking downloads would come through. And then I would just be like, ooh, now I'm being called to ask this person. Ooh, now I'm like, oh my God, this vision is getting clearer and clearer. This is what happens when you play in the dark. You manifest a shit ton. And now I'm about to leave the next couple days. And yeah, it's sad for me because it's like a lot of parts of me died here. The good girl, the one who was people pleasing, the one who really needed validation, the one that would contort to fit in, to community, to this and that. And the bears, I call them bears, cats. The cats that were here for 4 months, that's literally the um who I saw the most. I didn't really go out, right? So part of me is really sad that I'm leaving them, right? But I'm also learning that on this journey, when you do follow the heart, when you do follow the pull, just know that that is part of your exit to expand. You're moving towards a new scene, and whatever is meant to be will realign with you later, but from a different frequency where you have claimed more of your truth, where you have expanded more into your heart, into your essence. And that's the part where the trust game comes in. You trust, right? You trust in what's coming when you're moving through the heart. And yeah, with that being said, I'm just stoked. I'm stoked. I'm feeling multiple emotions, and multiple truths can coexist. Right now, I am in a space that's luminal. I am in a space that's unknown. There's moments where I'm like, shit, what's going to happen? How am I going to go do this fucking global nomadic co-creation tour, right? I don't know. But my vision, I'm getting more and more curious about the feeling and visualizing it, and knowing that these bears, these cats were part of my journey in order to hold me where I was in the dark, and have so much gratitude, and go towards a new journey, a new path, and not forget them. I will always be so grateful, and we can still be connected at a distance. Sometimes we don't want to let go because we're afraid to lose something in the physical. Like when my dad passed, it's like, yeah, you get in a space where you're like, oh shit, like my whole world is falling apart. I don't have a father in the physical anymore. But what's crazy is that if you're open and you stay connected to your heart, and you intentionally reach out, you can really connect with people even at a distance, even who are not in this physical realm. And that's what happened. I actually ended up connecting even more with my dad. So I see that now as a nomad on this heart led path, is that, things seem like an ending in the physical, but they're not. They've initiated you deeper to a new beginning. And if it's meant, it will come back. And if not, you will still have that energy and that memory with you when you want to look back, when you need to look back. So just know that the fear is where it keeps us stuck. Fear of losing something keeps us stuck, but really we don't own anything in reality, right? And I think right now, with everything that's happening in the world, the key is to feel safe in your body, to feel regulated, to feel connected to your heart and your passion and your zest for life, your aliveness, so that when you do leave this world, quote unquote, you're not thinking, shit, I could have done something different. I should have told someone I loved them. I should have tried this. You wouldn't have any regrets. You would feel fulfilled. And that is the journey of the heart. The heart directed movie in reality is all about feeling fulfilled, because we don't want to chase something through an old script that we've been handed, out of fear, out of somebody else's fear, so that we continue their path and then get to the end and we're like, shit, did I fucking live? Did I fucking love? Did I open up? Or did I just carry the pain? Did I just keep on the same cycle? And for me personally, I could be right here in the middle of nowhere and be like, fuck, life is amazing, because I see the possibility. Because when you're in your heart, you feel the possibility, you see the visions, you feel the heartbeat, you see that there is so much aliveness here with everything that's happening. So, this is why my message to you, if you're watching this or if you're watching this on a replay, just know that you can play right where you are. You can be playful in the dark, playful in the dark, because by playing, you feel more full, you feel more connected to your heart, and you return back home to your frequency. So, if playing for you looks like being curious, asking questions, exploring new things in the dark, where like, what's awesome here while it's dark? What can I really extract from? And how can I bring in creativity here? How can I move in a way where I'm not suffering? You get to co create the scene. So just know that when you are in the middle of a death portal, when your identity is shedding, when you are like, where the fuck am I going? And you are just like, you know, so confused, just know that this point in time, at that very moment, is your opening to initiation, to further embodiment, to further preparation, to manifesting a next level scene, set, aligned scene where people could fucking meet you from a different space now that you've made space. But you need to be honoring the death. You gotta you need to be with yourself in the death and hold yourself in a way where you're not holding on due to shame and guilt. You're ready to let go of the script, right? You're feeling what's alive, not from judgment, from being with what's alive, from being where you are. And the more you open up that space and you're not closing up in the dark, what happens is you get little nudges like, oh, I'm feeling like, oh, I'm being pulled somewhere. So the feeling of being pulled somewhere where your heart is calling you in is when we make the space and intention to really listen, right? What gets you in your body? Is that meditation? Is that movement? Is that music? And then drop in intentionally. Where am I pulled? What's exciting to me now? What's alive? Where do I feel the least resistance? And you start to follow those breadcrumbs, those little nuggets, right? Without a map. And that's when there's so much that can start to rearrange for your next set. So many different people come in and they're like, yo, be dope. We could co create. That's what happened with me, right? I followed the pull and it's like, wow, this was my vision. Co-creating in with women, in community, with people I vibe with in California. And she was like, yo, let's do it. So now this is where I want to share that it is very important in this stage where you're not yet becoming, to really stay open and play, because you will manifest some really dope shit. We want to manifest the next level scenes, not the scenes that are going backwards on the old scripts. You're done reading those scripts. You've over rehearsed it. You've literally said those lines a million times, which means that right now we are done with it. We are ready to let go and put it in the trash. We're able, with love, right? With love, no judgment. Hey, that was a role that I played at the time because I fit that role. I needed to learn the lessons, I needed to get paid in it. Yes, you've been paid, you've grown. Now let's keep on the wave where you're going to the next level scene, the next level set. We got a new director in the building, and it's your heart, your badass heart that's like, yo, I'm gonna call you up. Trust me, trust me. I am bringing you places you have never been. Just do things differently this time, because here's the thing, people will complain. I want this. Why don't I have this? Why does this happen to me? I get it. It's hard. But this is where you get tested. Can you stay open even in the dark? Can you also start to imagine a different possibility no matter what is happening in the physicality? And can we choose differently? Choose differently. You have two choices now, wherever you are. If you're listening to this, I trust that you are on that path. You are a healer, you are an artist, you are a badass woman who has unconventional way of being and thinking, and you have big visions for this world right now with what's happening in humanity. So your question right now is, do I fall back on the old scripts by continuing to do listening to my mind, listening to the fear, staying stuck in it? Or do I be open to this new way of being, which is trusting in the unseen, being with my heart, intentionally making space to listen for the direction, for the cues, for the action, the aligned action? And can I hold myself through the ending? And can I be open to playing in the dark, in the unknown of what can come out of this place? And trust that, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a full 100% map, but follow the feeling. Tune into the vibration, the vibe, and let yourself go on the next level ride, baby. Let's go. So, this is what I need to say to you. I don't know. Like, who needs to hear it? I hope it resonates. And if you are open to this kind of work, I now am opening up vibe check alignment calls for this transformative work that I do with women to help them break out of the looping of old scripts and open their heart wider so they can step into their next level scenes that has their name written on it already, where they can actually receive and not fall back on the old script and scene. So that is that. You can find me on IG at I am the spiritual G, or you can go on my website for the true war goddess work that I do, which is an archetype that is heart led, that is badass, that is willing to hold your next level expansion, because she moves through fear with courage and vulnerability and devotion to her path and her mission. You can go to truewargoddess.com. And if you want to leave a comment, fuck yeah, let's go, let's connect. And this is the time. This is the feminine rising this year with the fire horse energy, with Aries happening right now. It is potent. We are being tested for being courageous. Can you be courageous? And to be courageous is to have a heart open enough to feel led in this from a space of, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I feel the call. I feel the passion. I feel the fire. When your heart is open, you get to feel that vision, that vibe, where you're going, where you really, really, really want to go. So sometimes that means you gotta sit with your shit, go deep, feel with love and compassion. And that's something that I offer in the sacred release, which we can always talk about on the vibe alignment call if ever you are open to this and feel the pull. Because when you follow the pull and you play hard as fuck, your shit be popping. I love you, and peace. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you for being here. This was a random, yeah, random live that I felt called to do, and I'm really sending you a lot of love wherever you are, a lot of support. And if you want to connect deeper, or if you're open to this kind of work, you know where to find me. And yeah, peace, peace. Amazing. Shows. That's okay. To rip my heart. Look like background from staircase. Agitation, frustration, loss. Oh shit. Are you ticklish? Uh, wow. Okay. Sit high, slow down, jacket. Show me the down jacket. Let's sit high. Yeah, it is recorded.